All right, our next topic is going to be simplifying powers of I. So if we're looking at I to the first power, that's just 1. And then if you recall previously, I squared is equal to negative 1. Well, how about the other powers? Well, we know that I to the third is equal to I squared times I. And we know that I squared is equal to negative 1. So let's go ahead. Negative 1 times I. So that's just going to be equal to negative I. Let's do the same thing for I to the fourth. I to the fourth, we know that that's just I squared raised to the second power. And if we know that I squared is equal to negative 1, that's negative 1 to the second, or just 1. And let's look at I to the fifth. I to the fifth, we can already use what we've created here. So we know that I to the fifth is really just I to the fourth times I. And if we said that I to the fourth was equal to 1, we can say 1 times I, or just equal to I. And I to the sixth power, again, we can go ahead and use what we've already learned. So we know that I to the fifth is equal to I, so we can say I to the fifth times I is equal to I times I, which is equal to I squared. And again, I squared is equal to negative 1. All right, and then 7 and 8, we can go ahead and do those as well. So this will be I to the sixth times I, and if I to the sixth was negative 1, we have negative 1 times I. So this will just give us negative I. And last but not least, we'll do I to the eighth. Let's just say, for example, I to the fourth times I to the fourth. You could also do I to the seventh if you wanted to simplify it. But for our case, let's just say I to the fourth, which was 1. So 1 times 1, or just 1. All right. So using some real numbers here, our first example, let's go ahead and try to simplify I to the 33rd. So I to the 33rd, let's see what we can break this down with. For our case, let's just say I to the 8th times 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 I. If we look up top again, we simplified I to the 8th as just equal to 1. So plugging that in, we have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times I. So that's just 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times I, which is just equal to I. Okay, how about if we throw in a negative here? Well, I to the negative 14 can be simplified like this. We could just say that is 1 divided by I to the 14, and then go from there. So for this one, let's just say I to the fourth times I to the fourth, and then we'll do I to the fourth and then I to the second. And this will give us I to the fourth. Let's see what that was. That was 1. So we'll have 1 times 1 times 1. And then I squared, if you remember, that was negative 1. So simplifying this is just going to be equal to 1 divided by negative 1, or negative 1.